Hey y'all, it's Ricky T, and I know it's been a while, man. The Christmas holiday, it's just been super crazy here at the Taylor Plantation, and I haven't had much of a chance to do any videos, but Christmas is over. It is the 27th. I don't have my watch on, I put it in my pocket. So used to doing that. It's the 27th, I think. I think it's Friday. Yeah, it's 27th. 28th. Christmas was Tuesday, today's Friday. All right. Anyway, I'm back, and today I'm going to do a couple of quick reviews for you. All of y'all that know me well know that I am a big fan of the various types of whiskeys. I enjoy them with my cigars that you've seen me smoke so many times up on the balcony. Today I'm in my office. I may actually be on the balcony here in a little bit. It's actually fairly warm for late December, so I may be up there. I may actually be up there creating some new reviews for you. But anyway, I like the whiskeys. I like enjoying them. Just, you know, it's just relaxing to have one or two. Never drink too much of it. Don't want to get too crazy. But so because of that, one thing I got for Christmas was this. This is a sampler pack. I'm going to put it up where you can see it here, by the distillery Heavenly Hill. Right? Heavenly Hill Distillery. Yep. And there's 5 different samples. You can see 2 of them that I've tried. So last night I'd had a couple of them. Now there's 5 here. One of the 5 I've had in the past, Larceny. It's a real good bourbon. I'm going to be reacquainting myself with that later today or tomorrow, and we'll give you my thoughts on that. But so this, and then if you look on the back, it tells you a little bit about each one. So I did the first 2. I did the Elijah Craig Small Batch Bourbon, and I did the Pikesville Straight Rye Whiskey. Now the beautiful thing about doing these 2 reviews together is they're totally different. It's like day and night. They're not. You wouldn't compare these 2. You wouldn't be like, if you were going to the store to buy a bottle of bourbon, you wouldn't narrow it down to these 2, because whatever you're looking for, these 2 are nothing alike. One is just a straight up, exactly what you would expect bourbon, and the other is a very strong rye, 110 proof rye. So I thought it was gonna be good to try those. I got that Pikesville out first intentionally because if you know me, I love the ryes. I love the ryes. Of all the bourbons, the ryes are my favorite. Of all whiskeys, Scotch is my favorite, which is what I'm the lowest on right now. Scotch seems to be a little more expensive. But anyway, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on these 2, the Elijah Craig Small Batch and the Pikesville Straight Rye Whiskey. So I'm going to review them in the opposite order of how I drank them. I'm going to give you the Elijah Craig Small Batch first. So this one, how do I even want to start this? So basically, here's what I'm going to tell you. Normally when you're talking about whiskey reviews, you talk about the aroma, you talk about the mouthfeel, or the actual palate, how it tastes, basically, and then you talk about the after you drink it, you talk about the bite afterwards. I'll remember the word here in a second. So the Elijah Craig, very good, just straight across the board bourbon. To summarize it before I get into the specifics, by the way, the word I was looking for was finish. The finish. You've got the aroma, the palate, and the finish. Those are really the 3 things to look at. So anyway, the Elijah Craig. So if you was to say the middle shelf is your everyday bourbon, this stuff is 1 shelf above that, but it's not on the top shelf. So very good, above average bourbon. I'm going to take the aroma and the palate and combine them because they typically are pretty close to the same. And just to keep this quick, since I'm doing 2, the aroma and the mouthfeel on both of these I will combine, and then the finish, I'll talk about that separately. So as far as the aroma and the palate, the taste, you know, when you drink it, what do you taste? Again, exactly what you would expect from a good bourbon. Very very corny, if you know what I mean. Lots of corn, which that's the main ingredient in the mash of any just straight up bourbon. Lots of corn. There was some sweetness. I would call it a caramel taste, which was delightful, quite honestly. As I drank it, you could taste a little bit of the charred oak that from the barrel, which the Reverend Elijah Craig, there's a legend that says he was the first, he was the inventor of bourbon. As the legend has it, he was a moonshiner. There was a big fire. As a result of the fire, the barrels got charred, and the taste, he's like, this is even better. Boom, bourbon was born. That's the legend. So you could taste the wood, the charred oak. It was good. And then there was some kind of some spice, a little bit of spice, not overly spicy, but a little bit like kitchen spice. So those were your primary flavors. Overall, really good. I would call it medium body as far as the strength. Again, I'm gonna look on here, 94 proof. So enough to know you're drinking whiskey, but it's not crazy. Like the Pikesville was 110 proof. 94 proof is still pretty good, but it was still really smooth going down. So I'm calling this an above average, really good bourbon. The finish, it just didn't, and here's where I'm going to get a little, give you my disappointment. On the finish, there just wasn't that, that if you're a bourbon drinker, you know what I'm talking about. You drink it and you're just waiting for that little, and then you're like, oh yeah, baby. It didn't have that. The finish was little to none. So I was disappointed about that. But still overall an above average bourbon. Here's my biggest disappointment, the price point. Because I always like to look this stuff up as I'm drinking it, as I'm sampling it, especially if I know I'm going to do a review. Because the question is, after you sample it, the bottom line is, would I go to the store and buy this? And the answer is yes and no. What do you mean, Rick? To me, this is about a $40 bottle of bourbon, maybe 45. 40, 45 range. If it's that, I probably would buy it at least once. There's so many options out there, it's hard to say, it's hard to choose. But for 40, 45 bucks, I'd buy a bottle. I definitely would. I'd enjoy it, especially on the weekends. Probably not a Tuesday night before you go to bed type of thing. But for 40, 45 bucks, I'd buy it. Here's the sad news. It's running 55 to 70 bucks a bottle. That's outrageous. That's crazy. That's not what it is. It's a $40, $45 bottle of bourbon, in my opinion. Now, if any of my friends, I got a friend who's my bourbon bitch, if she sees this and you're telling me you can get it for me for 40, 45 bucks, let me know. And maybe we can I've negotiated deals with her on booze, because that's what we do. If you can get me a deal, I'll buy it. But 55, 70, nah, ain't happening. 40, 45, when I need some bourbon, I would consider it. We'll say that. So overall, to review, very good, very tasty, semi-complex, it's several different flavors going on. The finish, almost none, very disappointing. And the price, it's not worth the price. So then next we got the Pikesville Straight Rye. I'm gonna pull this bad boy out. There it is, there's a little vial it was in. You can see I've probably got 2 or 3 more drinks here. That was a big pour. I probably should have only taken it down to about there. But when I saw it was straight rye, I got a little excited because I love rye. So, Pikesville. It didn't disappoint me. It was awesome. It was freaking fantastic. And before we get into the review, I'm just gonna say it. I think this is now my favorite rye. I'm gonna drink more of it. I would definitely buy a bottle of it. Matter of fact, I may go make a special trip, even though I don't need any, and just buy it because it's that damn good. So here we go. Let's do the review. So, aroma, palate. What are we talking about? So, it's a rye, and you can it's spicy as hell. I love it. So here's the flavors I was detecting. First off, I was tasting some peat. I got the peat flavor. It kind of oddly, weirdly reminded me of Scotch a little bit. And as you guys know, Scotch is my favorite whiskey. It's also the most expensive kind of whiskey to get if you want the good stuff. And that's why I don't drink it as much, but it is my favorite. I got that peat, that peat flavor. Love it. It was great. There was also some other woodiness from the oak woodiness in there. I also lots of sweetness, kind of similar to the Elijah stuff here. But more. This was way more complex. Way more stuff going on. You know, the peat, the oak. I had caramel. I had vanilla. I had cream. It was a little thicker. I got cream. It was almost like a spicy dessert. And then the spices. We're talking cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, just all kinds of spiciness going on. All these different flavors. Way more complex than the Elijah Craig. Loving it. 110 proof, and you could just feel it going down. It was just awesome. I loved it. Finish, big, beautiful, strong, black pepper finish. If you guys have heard me talk about my cigars, well, I'm smoking my cigars up on the balcony, which is actually right above where I'm sitting now. I always talk about I love that black pepper finish on my cigars. Same thing with my bourbons. The finish was phenomenal. I'm sitting here for 3 to 5 minutes and I'm still feeling it like you don't have to brush your teeth or use mouthwash it on a day when you're going to drink this stuff, because any germ that's in your mouth, that killed it. I mean, the finish was unbelievable, awesome. It was delicious. So this stuff, I'm propping it up. It's great. Now, price point. Here's what's crazy. So you heard me talk up this Pikesville, and I also talked about the Elijah Craig being good, but not great, right? The Elijah Craig is 55 to 70 bucks. The Pikesville, it's running right at 50 bucks. The Pikesville is way better and cheaper. It's a no-brainer, guys. If you like rye, you owe it to yourself to try this stuff. I will tell you, close this bad boy up. This sampler, they got it at Kroger. It was like 30 bucks. If you like bourbons and you don't want to have to buy every single bottle to see what you like, go to the Kroger on Thompson and Emerson. They still, as of yesterday, they still had about 5 or 6 of these. It's worth, man, just for the Pikesville, it's worth it. The other 3, I'll try 2 of them tonight, 1 of them tomorrow maybe, and come back with some more reviews. It's going to be hard to beat that Pikesville. But I would go get one and try it. The Pikesville, off the hook. Loved it. Again, if you like rye, you got to try it. The Elijah Craig, again, if you can find it on sale for 40, 45 bucks, it's worth it. There's others out there just as good at the same price point, so it's all a matter of what you want to do. So that's that. I've had the Larceny. It's been a while, but I remember really, really liking it. The Evan Williams and the Bernheim original, I've never had those 2. I may try those 2 tonight if I'm just kind of hanging out in the family room, and come back and give you a report on those. And then I'll talk about the Larceny as well when I get a chance to try it. But for the price, it's a great little sampler to try. I'm going to get 3 or 4, at least 3 or 4 drinks out of each of the 5. So 20 to 25 drinks total out of this thing for 30 bucks. I bought that about $1.25, $1.50 a drink. It would cost you like $7, $8 to get one at the liquor at a bar restaurant. So anyway, that's it. I look forward to your comments, questions, anything like that. If you guys know something similar that you would recommend to me, that you've had, that you think is really good, that you think might challenge these, let me know, and I'll try them and I'll review them. And that's about all I got for you right now. Again, I'll have some more of these. Trying to do a little less political stuff as we get into 2019, but I'm still going to do some political stuff. You're going to get one in the next day or two from me on that, because the immigration stuff with the shutdown, I'll be talking about that in a few days. I want to do some more food reviews. Those are kind of funny. I try to make those kind of funny. Healthcare products, you know, I like all my herbs and stuff. And actually, one thing I'm really thinking about doing in 2019 is maybe doing some biblical devotions. It's kind of touching my heart that maybe it might be a good idea to do those for you guys to listen to. So we'll see what I come up with on that as well. So, and then football's almost over, so it'll be fall before I do those again. And that's about it, y'all. You know I love you, and until next time, as always, God bless America.